We are going to see the heads of state of Ghana since independence. Some countries, you'll find that when we talk of Kenya, we say the presidents of Kenya since independence. Same with Tanzania and a few other countries. But some countries you'll find us referring not necessarily as head of state. This is because of military coups, and Ghana is one of those countries. So I wanted just to say we are talking of the heads of state of Ghana since independence. You'll find that there are some Nigerian presidents who, like Obasanjo, when the Nigerian government refers to him, they say that he used to be a military head of state and later he became a president. So you'll find that some countries we are referring to heads of state. The first head of state of Ghana was Kwame Nkrumah. He started being the head of state on 1st July 1960. He ceased being the head of state on 26th February 1966. He had gone to North Korea when he was overthrown by the military. So the military head of state was Lieutenant General Joseph Ankara. Joseph Ankara became the head of state on 26th February 1966 until 2nd April 1969. He resigned. He resigned because the military junta that was ruling that time, they had a meeting and told him that he had started associating himself with those corrupt individuals, corrupt businessmen who were associated with the former government. So from there, he resigned and was replaced by Brigadier Akwanzi Afrifa on 2nd April 1969. He continued being the head of state up to 7th August 1970, when he was replaced for a very short time by Ni Alam Olemu. Ni Alam Olemu took over on 7th August 1970 until 31st August of 1970. That was less than a month. Then Edward Akufo-Addo took over on 31st August 1970 and left the seat on 13th January 1973. No, he took over 31st August 1970 and he was overthrown on 13th January 1972. He was overthrown by Lieutenant Colonel Ignatius Achempong. Ignatius Achempong stayed for quite some time, that by the time he left, he took over when he was a lieutenant colonel, but left when he was a lieutenant general. Now, towards the beginning of 1978, there was a lot of maandamano. There's a lot of maandamano where people wanted the country to go back to civilian rule, and there were so many demonstrations. So the Supreme Military Council sat down and asked, by then he was a Lieutenant General, Ignatius Achempong, to step down. He stepped down for the vice chairman of the military committee, who was Fred Akufo. Fred Akufo took over from him on 5th July 1978, and he was there for slightly less than a year, up to 4th June 1979. That is when somebody, you know, prophets are people who talk and do things which are extraordinary, but then several decades or several generations later, it comes to be that whatever he was talking or doing has become something of a milestone. There was a day, a flight lieutenant, Jerry Rawling, took an aircraft. He went and, of course, there is a tape on Jerry Rawling, but I'll repeat but summarize. There's a day he took a fighter plane. Being a flight lieutenant, he ordered the flight sergeant who was to place bombs on a fighter plane. And when the sergeant looked at him, he was worried that the things were not okay. So he placed their dummy bombs. And when Jerry Rawling took off, he thought he had live bombs. You can remember we had such a case in 1982 when a plane disappeared and it had live bombs on it, but the Kenyan plane went to Mount Kenya and dropped the bombs in Mount Kenya. So here was Jerry Rawling thinking that he had bombs on his live bombs, but he had a dummy. So he went and started going around and telling the control room to tell the president to resign, and if the president did not resign, he's going to bomb installations that were there. But then the sergeant, the flight sergeant, had already informed the bosses that the bombs that were there were dummy. So the only thing that remained was for him to be. They knew that the plane had fuel, so he was to stay in air for as long as the fuel was there. So as he was doing that, he was informed by the military high command that the bombs that you have are dummy, blanks. So you fly when you are tired or when the aircraft is land. He landed and was taken to prison. Before I say what happened in prison, Jerry Rawling is not a pure African. His mother is the one who was an African, but the father was a Scottish. Rawlings, the name Rawlings is from a Scottish. So when he landed and found handcuffs ready for him, and then he was taken to committee of that country. And when he was taken to committee, these really encouraged the NCOs who overthrew the government by first of all going to the maximum security prison to release him and made him the president. He's the one who ordered that all previous presidents who were alive, all previous military presidents who were alive, were to be taken to the coast, to the beach, and shot. Jerry Rawling became the head of state on 4th June 1979 up to 24th September 1979. It was a very short time, actually months, and then he organized for free and fair elections, which was won by Harry Linman. Harry Linman took over on 24th September 1979, and the biggest mistake Harry Linman, I can say from my point of view, is that he was not comfortable Jerry Rawlings had retired from the army. He was just a civilian, but Jerry Rawlings got annoyed that the new government had placed spies on him, and all the time, every place he went, he was obviously being monitored and reported on. To me, that is the main reason that Jerry Rawlings was not happy. So on 31st December 1981, Jerry Rawlings again overthrew Harry Linman, and he ruled for a long time. From 1981, 31st December 1981 to 7th January 2001. Those are over 20 years. That is when they had also another free and fair elections, and it was won by John Kofu. John Kofu took over on 7th January 2001 up to 7th January 2009. John Kofu, when he completed his term, the person next who took over was John Attan Mills. John Attan Mills. John Attan Mills took over on 7th January 2001 until 24th July 2012. I'll repeat again. John Attan Mills took over on 7th January 2009 up to 24th July 2012. Another John, it seems to be a John is easier to be the president there. John Mahama took over on 24th July 2012 until 7th January 2017. They appear to prefer 7th January as the day for a new president. And then on 7th January 2017, the current president, Nana Akufo, took over and is still there. This is another episode of trying to identify heads of state of African countries since independence up to the time of shooting. We have covered other countries. We have covered Kenya. Kenya we have not covered, but that is obvious. We have covered Tanzania. We are going on. We will cover as many countries as we can remember the heads of state. Thank you.